Welcome everyone to Beauty Talk Live. We have the beautiful Alicia Scott here with Range Beauty. I'm such a fan.
Oh, thank you.
I'm not even lying, and I'll tell you all about that. But thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
So Beauty Talk Live is something we started a few months ago during quarantine, just to connect with our customers, our hive across the country. Since they couldn't come into the store, we wanted to bring the store to them
Love
and
it.
share some beauty tips. We've been talking with influencers, and this edition is the entrepreneur edition. So that's why we have Miss Alicia here from Range Beauty. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you guys don't know, you need to know Range Beauty is a wonderful makeup brand, a cosmetic line for, as you like to say, the forgotten shades, which
Yes.
is us,
Yes.
black and brown girls. So thank you. Please introduce yourself. Tell us the story behind Range Beauty.
Well, yes, thank you so much for having me. First off, when you guys reached out and I saw that it was a Black woman-owned beauty supply store, I was like, oh, I want parts. Whatever I can do,
Yes.
because that's amazing, and we need more of that in our community for sure.
Thank
For me,
you.
I actually went to Virginia Tech for fashion merchandising and design, so I was obsessed with fashion. I always thought
Hmm.
that was going to be my lifelong career. So after graduation, I moved to New York, and I worked several different jobs within the fashion industry. And throughout each of those jobs, sometimes I would be on set for photo shoots, campaign shoots, runway shows, etc. And the models that were coming to set, I would notice that the Black models there would come with their own makeup kits. And at first, I just thought, oh, this is just something models do. Sometimes we'll give them requirements to bring to set. So this might just be something that I wasn't aware of.
Hmm.
But then I noticed it happening over and over and over again, and it was only Black models. So I finally asked
Mm.
one time, and this model just gave me this breakdown of an experience where she was on set for a runway show, and her makeup artist, the makeup artist that was assigned to her, was just flat out like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do because I don't have any products to complete this look on your skin tone. And so she said that ended up having to just go down the runway barefaced. And it
Oh,
made her feel like she was a problem. It made her
yeah.
feel like, you know, what else can I do so that I don't run into the situation? So she went and put together her own kit, which I'm sure a lot of the other models were doing, of whatever she could find across all products, not just foundation, that was a
Hmm.
match
Hmm.
for her skin tone. And it just frustrated me, and it just made me think about how crazy that was, especially, I mean, this was back in 2013, 2014. And for me, it was just thinking about where I was, New York and everything. I just felt like, why are we still having this issue with not having,
Right.
especially on set for a fashion show? It just really pissed me off. And so
Hmm.
then I looked at my own collection at home, and I had always been just a mascara and eyeliner girl because I never wanted to deal with trying to play in these foundations that I knew were not my shade. And then on top of that, I deal with eczema, I deal with acne,
Mm.
and I just couldn't use a lot of the products because they would contain fragrance or talc or dyes that would irritate my eczema and acne. And so I just started brainstorming, and I just figured out, there doesn't seem to be a product for this, so I'm just going to create it. And so I went into my research bag, and I just went down this crazy rabbit hole of trying to figure out why these shades weren't being made for us, figuring out why these cosmetic companies were using such toxic filler ingredients.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that's when I came across research that showed Black women are actually exposed to twice the amount of toxic beauty products than any other group.
I've
Um,
seen that. Yeah, that is
yes,
wild.
it's wild, and it's due to us not having clean alternatives in our skin tone. And that,
Yeah.
coupled with Black women outspend every group when it comes to beauty. And so our high
Facts.
spending power, our high spending pattern, combined with us not having these clean alternatives, has increased our exposure to toxic beauty products. And so that was why it was my mission to be able to provide clean, vegan, cruelty-free products made here in the U.S. And it had to be for the forgotten shades because we are most prone to toxic beauty products. And because when you walk these cosmetic aisles, it's the least amount of shades that you'll see on the shelf. So we're the least represented also. And that's how Range Beauty came to be. I did a soft launch in May 2017. It was a completely different name, completely different vibe. And then I came back with a rebrand with the Range Beauty name, and I officially launched in August of 2018.
I think the Range Beauty is a perfect name. It just encompasses everything that the brand stands for. So kudos to that. Like, yeah, it was meant to be. It was meant to be. And I feel like as entrepreneurs, especially Black women, you know, most of our businesses are found from like a pain point, right? Like for you, it was, you know, there weren't enough, you know, beauty brands out there that included shades that matched our skin tone, but also good for us, clean, right? For me, it was, you know, I wanted a retail space where women of color could shop, you know, for high quality, you know, products made specifically for us, superior customer service, a nice environment, you know, things like that. And I feel like we've been so neglected in this space, and it's unfortunate because, like you said, we spend the most dollars. So, you know, thank you to Range Beauty. Like, I love you guys. I recently purchased some stuff from you. Yeah. So, we'd love to get you guys in Beauty Bees.
It's yes, I was like, oh, trying to spot a little shelf space over there.
Of course.
It's like you said, it's often for Black entrepreneurs, especially for Black women entrepreneurs. We build these brands out of these pain points, and we just come to the conclusion, like, we can only ask and beg so many times for these people to create for us. And at that point, you just have to stop and say, why am I not creating it for us? So like, thank you for creating a safe space. I know there are so many women who have experienced going to these beauty supply stores and being followed or being harassed or not feeling comfortable. And I think it really is up to us to create our own lanes and make things for us, because there's not going to be any better representation than that.
Correct. I completely agree. I'm going to switch topics really, but we'll stay on the same topic actually, but I meant to ask this question later. Speaking of, like, you know, other businesses in the beauty industry, you know, not representing us, how do you feel about the current climate, right? I feel like, you know, with all the Black Lives Matter stuff, it's definitely brought awareness to our brands. And it's exposed a lot of brands too, right? So and we have like activists and, you know, people out there, like we have the Pull Up for Change campaign, and you have to have the 15% pledge that some businesses are doing. How do you feel about that? Like with Sephora saying we're going to dedicate, you know, 15% of our shelf space to Black owned brands.
It's so funny. I was just on a call on Juneteenth. It was hosted by 25 Black women in beauty, Cara and Ella. And we had some representatives from Sephora. We had representatives from L'Oreal, and we were all just kind of putting in our 2 cents, and we all had the same conclusion that yes, it's great that these companies want to say, okay, now, I mean, it's not great in the sense of like, y'all thought we were born like yesterday, we've been here. But if that's what you're saying, this is going to be my contribution, great. My issue is we must acknowledge that Black women receive the least amount of funding. So we receive 0.02% of investments. So if you are lucky to scale your company to size, to go to majority of these white-led investment firms, and then you still have to jump through hoops to try and get the investment. A lot of times when we're talking about retail, so much capital is needed for you to get on these shelves. I think a lot of people are like, oh my God, you're in Sephora, you're in Target, you're winning. And it's like, it's expensive to be in retail. Like, there's so many costs associated with being on the shelves. So whether you could pledge 50% of your shelves to Black owned brands. The issue is we need to figure out what resources and what alternatives can be done to make sure that these brands are succeeding on the shelves. Because if you accept the pledge and you have us on the shelves this year and our marketing is not hitting like the brand next door, our inventory, we can't keep it on
You
shelves because
can't
we
keep
don't have
up.
the
Yeah.
capital to produce it. You know, there's all these factors, and then we're booted off the shelf next year. What was this all for? And so I say to a lot of the retailers, there needs to be things done. There are a lot of fees that come into place that I think could be waived for year one to try and give us somewhat of an even playing field. I think that there could be different allowances given, like a marketing allowance given to help indie and new brands. I just think that there need to be more resources that coincide with us getting the shelf space due to us not having as many resources where it comes to scaling our
As
business.
the other brands.
Yeah.
I like that. It's
Thank
so
you.
true. That's so true. So I recently purchased a few products from you guys last week. Like I said, this whole movement is just creating so much exposure for brands and stuff. So knowing that I had this interview, I'm like, I gotta get some Range Beauty products. And I recently got an email from you guys saying that you are pretty much like sold out. I mean, I feel like that's amazing. And I want to know, like, what does that mean to you as an entrepreneur in this moment, you know, from 2017 when you first started to now being like sold out and everyone knowing about you guys?
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned in the letter that I sent out, this is, I've officially been in business since August 2018. And these past 2 months is the most exposure and the most amount of orders that I've ever had from 2018 to now. And so for that, and even when COVID happened, I was slowing down. Okay, like, let me slow down on my inventory purchases. Not going to be spending. So when it's like, before everything happened, COVID came into play, right? And so you had to start thinking strategically about your budget, about what you have on hand, everything.
Because I'm sure, like, you're thinking, everyone's in the house, no one's really going to be buying makeup, right?
Yes. I was thinking no one was really, even though through recessions and through pandemics, cosmetics always comes out on top, because throughout these, it's always like, people are like, I still want to look good and feel good and buy something that does that for me. So it wasn't that I completely like halted inventory. I didn't order massive amounts. And so once I think the Black Lives Matter movement and everything kicked up, and then we saw those Black-owned brand lists circulating. We saw all these different magazines and bloggers and influencers now trying to put us on the map and everything like that. I had 4 months of inventory, like 4 months of inventory gone in 3 weeks. And that was unheard of for me. And at the same time, even though states are reopening and it feels like there has been a shift with COVID is still happening. Like, it's
still here. Stay in the house, people. Stay in the house.
Not going anywhere. Like, she's here to stay.
No.
And so all of us are still affected. I'm still affected.
Yeah.
My manufacturer, who I used to be able to get restock within 3 days, so I could place my order and say, I need however much and this and this and this, I could get that in 3 days and I was fine. Now they've decided to pivot because they have the capability to produce hand sanitizer and masks. So that's
they're going.
That's to them. So whatever we need has unfortunately taken a back burner, even though it's hurting our business. And it's just kind of follow that flow with our printing manufacturer who does our merchandise. Like, they are completely flooded, also due to COVID. Just everything has completely slowed down. I can't have a lot of people helping me with packing because I decided to keep it just to my close family and friends who I know are taking precautionary measures with their health and with COVID and are out being exposed to everything. We were supposed to move to a warehouse. We had to put that on hold. So there's
So you're still doing everything like in your house?
I mean, in the background, this is real. Like,
oh my goodness,
boxes, everything. And we're doing like 500 and some orders a day out of my apartment. And compared to when I would do like 40 orders a week, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
Insane. And that's why I sent out that email, because I'm like, I need people to understand.
Yeah.
like everything that is happening is impacting us greatly. And I know it's like, I paid my money. You didn't have to wait to get my money. Why do I have to wait to get my order?
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
honestly, that's just the reality right now. And
And
so
I want to say thank you so much for your honesty and transparency, because some people don't do that. Some brands don't do that. You know what I mean? Like they make excuses or things like that. You're like, no, like I'm a small company. Like,
yeah,
thank you guys so much because of all this that's going on. It's been really amazing, but I'm sold out, and this is why
yeah.
I'm sold out. And just thank you for being patient with me. So I appreciate the honesty and transparency as a consumer.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think I have to think about it too. I know, like on our website, I already had banners up that were saying, here's our delay from COVID.
Yes,
This
you did.
sometimes people are just trying to check out. Maybe they're not looking, whatever the case. And so I have to think from a consumer standpoint. If I ordered something and to me, it maybe felt like, well, I ordered this a week ago and I haven't heard anything. So I definitely wanted to make sure I put out something just to keep everything. I have no issue being transparent. Like, I am not a corporation. I am really a one-woman team, grateful and thankful to have family and friends to help me, but majority of the time it's just me. And so I want everyone to know that, so that they're like, they don't think like, what are they doing over there, right? And just
like
really, we're trying.
typical Black-owned business. They don't have their crap together.
Yes, exactly. So I'm grateful. We did receive a lot of responses back to the email of people being like, thank you so much. Like, I am willing to wait. And so that's really all it takes sometimes, is just communication.
Yeah. Speaking of challenges and difficulties, what challenges or barriers did you face in growing Range as a Black woman specifically? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like in my industry, clearly, like, we are the minority when it comes to ownership of these stores and these products. I would love to know like what it's like for you in starting a cosmetics line as a Black woman. Did you face any adversity?
Yeah, it's been an interesting path, because when I first launched in May 2017, my whole concept was I wanted it to be affordable, because I think a lot of people think clean and they think expensive. And that shouldn't be the case, because clean ingredients they just should be seen as a necessity, not as a luxury item. Like, it's for your health. So I
This is
don't
true.
know
Yeah.
how all of that happened. So my mission was, I wanted it to be like elf level affordable. And so when I first launched our foundations, they're currently $21. When I first launched, I only had, I think, 15 or 16 shades at the time. Now we have 21 shades. And they were $12 at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so to me, I'm like, oh, this is going to be great because it's $12. It's clean. It's a decent shade range. And it just wasn't picking up like that. And when I received feedback, like, I sent out a survey, and I was just kind of digging around in comments and asking and da-da-da. And a lot of the feedback was, how can your company like sell this for $12? It just doesn't make sense. How are you pitching it to be these clean ingredients and you're selling it for $12? And so I guess it just didn't seem genuine. And so that was one of the things that I encountered, and that's when I rebranded. I upped the prices, and then it seemed like everyone felt really comfortable with it.
Isn't that crazy?
Fine,
like,
which is totally fine, but it's just interesting to think about that. Another thing was, I am someone who, whether it's this, whether it was in any of my other job positions, I never want to put out anything that I consider like half-assed. And so a lot of my time, I kept pushing my release date back. So like, this doesn't look right, this packaging isn't right, this da, 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 da. And I had to get real with myself and just understand the difference between something being professional and something being perfect. Like, it's not going to be perfect. It's just never going to be perfect.
This is true.
Even talking, I was on live with Bobby Brown a couple of days ago.
I saw that. That's amazing.
For her, when her company, she was just like, to this day, there's things that I'm like, oh, if I was still there, here's something different I would do. And so that was a major thing, to just like let it go and just put it out and see how it's received. And you can always change later. And then my third biggest thing was just, I would say, a combination of exposure and money. So exposure, because it was just interesting seeing some of these white-led brands that released afterwards, and they're coming out with things that I considered subpar, and they're blowing up.
They're doing well. Yeah.
They're everywhere, and the attention is just on them, and I'm just trying to figure out what I need to do differently.
And like you said, it's money. Like they have all this money piled in, and so they got PR, marketing, everything, ads, influencers, everything.
They had so much money at their expense to just say, I can put it towards this, whereas I had to be very strategic with where I spent. And so with that, and then being bootstrapped. So when majority of the time of operating Range, I was still working my 9 to 5. And time after that, any money I had left over from paying bills, etc., and then any money that came in from sales went right back into the company. And so I didn't leave Range until last year to take it on full time. And so just figuring out capital, figuring out how to go after these grants and these funds that are dedicated to Black women entrepreneurs, instead of trying to get in front of these majority white investment firms or majority white funds.
Who honestly don't even understand why we exist in the first place.
And it's just like, even for me to be able to provide the numbers that I can provide from being a bootstrapped company, and to still have them scrutinize and say like, oh, well, yeah, we'll circle back, or and then I look at their list of brands that they've invested in, and I'm like, yeah, okay. So that's why I had to switch gears and just keep it moving, and that's why I switched over to like grants through New Voices Fund, which is dedicated to Black women entrepreneurs. For Business was one that was dedicated to Black women entrepreneurs. Just different ones like that I knew were created for us.
That's awesome. So I want to switch gears. We're going to have a little fun, play a little game, okay? But before I do, my brand manager is going to kill me. We have a contest, you guys. I forgot to announce it, but if you guys, you just need to do 3 things. Have to follow Range Beauty, Range_Beauty, and follow Beauty Store. Screenshot this live right now. Oh, my earpod fell out. Screenshot the live, and then repost it. And you will get a gift from not only Beauty Bees, but also Range Beauty. So please, you guys, remember to join the contest, follow us, screenshot us, and repost us. So I want to play a little game, Alicia. It's just called Meet the Founder. It's a few questions just so we can get to know you as a founder and just as Alicia, a person. So what's your most used emoji?
Oh, my most used is definitely, I think it would probably just be the crying, laughing emoji.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I like the one that's like a horrible, like, stank face. I don't know. I just think it's hilarious. I just think it's hilarious. Okay. Most used app?
Instagram.
I know. Same. I hate to admit it, but it's for business, really.
I know. Yeah. This is what I tell myself. I'm like, it's for business. Meanwhile, I'm scrolling pointlessly, but I'm like, it's for business. That's why. Do you
guys use TikTok yet?
So I was going to do a TikTok page, but then when everything happened with them shadow banning the Black Lives Matter hashtag.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Oh yes, I chose not to, so I do not participate in anything TikTok.
I have to research that. I didn't know that. That's interesting. We just started a page, but we haven't done anything yet. Work from home or work from office? Do you have an office outside of home? I don't have an office.
My office is in my home, so work from home, office.
Okay. What is the last book you read?
Ooh, Michelle Obama, Becoming.
Oh yes. I think it's called Becoming. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. We love her. What was your first job?
Oh my gosh, my first job. I think I saw my best friend Mariah on here. I don't remember if my first job was at a daycare. No, I think my first job was at Marshall's, actually.
Really? You worked at Marshall's?
I wanted to work, And it was while I was still in high school, and my dad is so big on like your education comes first, and I'm like, but I just want my own spending money. I've always been that way. Like I didn't
Yeah,
have my own
same.
money.
I was the same way.
Yeah, even though they were like, we got you. Like, what do you? And I'm just like, no, I just
Mm-hmm.
want to have my own. And so across the street from my home was a plaza that had a Marshalls in it. And I remember I went there, but their shifts are crazy. And I would be there
Really?
on like a midnight closing shift. And my dad was like, no. And I
Wait, why
remember
are they
he
closing
told
at midnight?
it was like they close, but then you have to stay behind to clean up and organize the store. And we would leave at like
Oh.
midnight at times.
Oh my
Mind you,
goodness.
while I'm in high school.
High
So I'm
school,
still
yeah.
and so my dad, he was just fed up with it. And he was like, no, I'm taking you there and you're going to tell him to change your schedule. And I was like, okay, Dad. And so I went in there and I went to my manager and I was like, you have to change the schedule. You know, I'm still a high school student. Da, da, da.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically was like, you can either work the schedule or not. And so I was like, okay, not.
Bye.
And I laughed to my dad. I was like, how'd it go? And I was like, I think I quit. So that was my first job. And then from there,
How long were you there?
I kid you not, I think it was like 2 weeks.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think that lasted all but 2 weeks. And then I went to Express in the mall.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then after that, I was working at this daycare, which it's called Creme de la Creme. And I was working there with my best friend, Mariah. I see you. And we worked there together. And so I've had like a bunch of different odd jobs.
Yeah.
A lot of them have been clothing stores, though, because I just thought it was like, oh, fashion. Let me work at clothing stores.
Okay. I my first job was a retail store and I hated it. I didn't work retail after that. It was
Retail
the worst.
was definitely the worst.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm in retail, but it's not closed, so it's a little different. But I don't know. I just found it to be it just drove me crazy.
Me too. It was just the hours and like kind of the way we were treated and just by customers and by like staff and it just wasn't worth it. No.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Last question. What's your favorite food?
Oh. My favorite food is definitely shrimp tacos. Like
really?
I'll eat shrimp tacos every day. I'm not even kidding you. I'm like I'll be out with my friend and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna make some shrimp tacos every time. It's just my go-to.
How do you make it? Like, what do you do? Like a special spice for the shrimp,
No,
or?
I do like I chop up the jumbo shrimp. I chop them into pieces. I use the hot Old Bay seasoning.
Old Bay, love it. Where are you from?
I'm kind of I was born in New York. My dad is from New York. My mom is from New Jersey, but I was raised throughout the U.S. and then overseas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Typically, when I hear Old Bay, I think of like East Coast or the South. So
yeah, my mom's from the shore in Jersey, so they were always doing boils and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Old Bay, gotta have it. But I just like doctor it up, and then my favorite part though is I take the like corn tortillas and I put them in sunflower oil so that I can like fry them up. Oh, and then you put it on. Then I make
really
my guacamole. You know, it's just my thing.
Oh, I love that.
Thanks,
I'm gonna have to go make some. So, you guys remember to join our contest. Follow Beauty Bee Store. Follow Range_Beauty. Take a screenshot and then repost it, and we are gonna send you some goodies. Okay. So Alicia, I want to talk about hair because I'm obsessed with your hair. I did a big chop a few months ago, and you are hair goals to me. Yeah. Just so talk about like your hair journey. Did you do a big chop? How long have you been natural? What are your favorite products?
So it's been an interesting one. I will say the first time that my mom put a relaxer in my hair was in 1996. I just remember because we were in Atlanta for the Olympics, and she was just like,
"Oh wow,
yeah." She was like, "I can't deal with your hair anymore." So that was my first relaxer, and I stopped relaxing my hair freshman year of college. And that was because I was at a PWI. It was a college town. Like, I'm not trying to be in the dorm room relaxing my hair. I just
Yeah.
it wasn't happening. And so I didn't do a big chop. I just let it grow out.
Okay.
But throughout the course of college, my second issue became heat damage because I was flattening my hair like 3 times a day. No lie.
3 times? Oh my
Yeah, I
goodness.
would wake up before class, flat iron my hair. In between class, flat iron my hair. We
Ah!
going out night, flat iron my
But
hair. And so I was frying my hair. And then it wasn't really until I moved to Atlanta in 2014, and I just wanted to figure out what was going on. Like I didn't do the big chop. I just started like cutting a little bit by little bit.
Yeah.
And I saw my curls coming through, and I was like, oh, okay, I can work with this. And it was just a lot of experimenting. It wasn't until maybe 2 years ago that I started taking it really seriously and like washing every Sunday,
Yeah.
deep conditioning, all of that, only using heat in the winter, and that would only be like once a month.
Okay. So you'll still straighten your hair?
Yeah, I still flatten my
Okay.
hair. I don't this time around I don't get any heat damage because it's gotten to the point where I just can do one pass through.
Yeah.
And I leave my hair straight for about 4 weeks, and then I do it again, just because my hair in the winter, while it's curly, I feel like I damage it more with it brushing up against things, with it being so cold out. It
dry, yeah.
you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm like, I love
it's
this thing.
So cute. I love it. It's so big. Like, I love it. What are your favorite brands or products that you use? What's working on your hair?
My go-to line is definitely Carol's Daughter.
Okay.
Her products, Lisa Price in general is just, I think she's an amazing boss. But that line has just always been my go-to since I started going natural. My hair just eats it up. My next one would be Shea Moisture.
Okay.
And my third one would be Curls.
Okay.
Curls, the gel, her edge control, all of that is just so good.
All of those brands do really well at the store. I think I think I have some curls in my hair right now, but yeah, all Black owned brands too. So big ups to them. Big ups to them. Okay, so I want to talk makeup. If anybody has any questions if you're watching, send us a question so we can have the makeup queen herself answer them.
Yes, please send questions. I love answering questions.
Yes. These questions are personally for me because I need help.
You got that, girl.
Okay, so I seen this question asked recently, and I was like, oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one. What do we do about our edges and our makeup? Do we do our edges? Do we lay our edges first and then do our makeup, or do we do our makeup first and then we lay our edges? Because I don't want like the cast that you see, like you see like where your foundation stops, or do we like put powder over it? What is your suggestion?
So for me, I usually do my hair after I do my makeup.
Okay.
And so I lay my edges after I do my makeup. The other thing for me is I never bring my makeup like all the way up here. So I'll do, I usually don't put a lot of foundation on my forehead because it's a clear part of my face. Whereas like down here, I might have more problematic skin, so I'll put more foundation. Up here, it's really light coverage, and so I don't push like a lot of foundation up there anyways. And then if I have like my halo, like my bronze halo, it's just me like going around with the brush. So I try to make sure I don't have products up around my edges, and that way
so you don't put the bronze over your edges either.
No.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I keep it like right in here.
Okay, gotcha.
And then up here, I just leave, because I know before I used to do that, and then my like little brush that I would use would have makeup
all over it,
and then it would just look good. So,
it looks bad. Okay.
Yeah, I make sure to just keep my makeup.
Just keep it. And then I'm guessing when you blend, just blend out, but don't blend the.
So the other thing with blending, so for me, and I don't know for however many ladies, but for me, because I have very fine, you can't see it, but I have very fine hair on my face.
Okay.
And so when I apply makeup, I always make sure I'm going in that direction instead of up against it. And that way it's
Mm.
smoother application. And same like
Okay.
here, like when I'm buffing, like I just do it in gentle round circles. So it's like kind of there, like you can see it, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
drastic. Because I'm not really an intense makeup girl. I like the soft glow and dewy
Yeah.
bronze is my go-to. But yeah, when you're applying, that's another thing with your application. Like it's kind of like when you're shaving and you need to make
Okay.
sure like with
Yeah.
the grain, when
Yeah.
you're
Mm-hmm.
applying your makeup, making sure that you're not kind of like going against your
Against
skin.
it.
It'll allow for a more even and smoother application.
Okay. Thank you for that. We have a
Yeah.
question. What's the best tip for swatching slash finding the perfect shade? And that came from Samaria. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. The
So
best tip for swatching.
for swatching, I always say, because we've done pop-ups and we'll have our testers out and I'm like, oh, can I swatch on you? And people will put out their hand. It's like, no. So I always say
Mm.
to swatch on your neck. Like if you have makeup on, I mean,
Neck.
I think
Okay.
now obviously a lot of stores will no longer be carrying testers with everything going on. But let's
Yeah.
just say you go to the store and you see a tester. Try to swatch it as close to your jawline as possible. So on your neck. If you're not wearing any makeup and it's easy for you to apply it to your face, obviously swatch on your face. If you're unable to swatch on your face, definitely apply it closest to your jawline and neck.
Okay.
And so like on our site, we have swatches and the models have the swatches on their chest.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. We had another question, but I think it's kind of the same thing. The best tips for getting a true color match. In, I guess you would say the same thing, kind of making sure we test an area similar to our face.
Yeah, test an area similar to your face. Like a lot of us, our hands, our wrists, I don't know how it got started, but it's just not the same. Like my wrist is
Okay.
nowhere near my hand, my wrist is nowhere near my
Yeah, I
neck.
guess not.
Yeah, it's not. And so I think another thing with Black women, with women of color, whomever, we have to be mindful that no one is just one shade. Like if you can
Mm-hmm.
tell the center of my face is highlighted, the perimeter of my face is deeper. And that's just naturally how your skin is. No one is going to be one. For one, it makes you look completely flat. And then for
Mm-hmm.
two, no one is just one shade, especially if you have melanin in your skin. So be mindful of like, even if you try a foundation, I know some of our guests get irritated because they're like, oh, it matches my perimeter, but not my center. It's probably because you have to highlight your center. So you're probably going to need to do a lighter shade, whereas the perimeter of your face in here, like right in here, will be a deeper shade.
Darker. Okay. Okay, we have another question from Joy Ubani. She says, what are your favorite range products? And I know you're gonna say all of them, so you gotta pick one or two.
You know my heart. Hey, so my favorite is definitely like, I'll say these two. No, I'll say three. I'll do four.
No.
Okay, really. Okay, my favorite hands down is obviously like our foundation, which is it's just my go-to.
And that's what
And
you started with, right? That's what you
yes,
started range
I
with. Okay.
started off with foundation. And my biggest thing with foundation was I'm not a matte girl. And
Mm,
I like when our skin peeks through. I love for it to be like a sheer to medium coverage. I don't like when it feels like you're wearing something. I don't
mm-hmm.
like I have on a mask. And so that was my biggest thing when I made these foundations. It's like a cross between a BB cream and a foundation. And so I just love the effect that it gives my skin. And then I would say, okay, how many? What's like 2 components?
Okay, wait. How many products do you have total in your line?
Okay, we have 5 total.
And you're gonna tell us 4? You might as well tell us all of the 5.
Okay, I'll just say all of the 5, you guys. Sorry. So
It's fine.
my second is the Bali Full Body Glow, which
I
is
can't wait to
honest.
try that. Oh my
I
goodness.
love this so much.
I cannot wait.
I just recently, I would say maybe towards the end of last year, when I noticed like during the winter months, my face was really dry before I was putting on makeup. This was originally meant to be a body glow, because when I would try like different body glows on the market, it would have chunky glitter It would smell weird. It would be sticky. It wouldn't really give me anything for my skin. And so that's what this was for you to take and do like glow here, mix it with your moisturizer. And then I started using it as a facial oil. So after my moisturizer, I put this on, and I'll usually do it before I put my foundation on, and it just makes your skin like, it's the perfect canvas.
Melts, glow. Love it.
Okay, then, wait, can we say what we're giving away?
Oh, yeah, you can. Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be one of the giveaway items.
I want to join. I want it now.
Full body glow. Okay, then we have our golden hour dual eye highlight, and this was created because I hate going into the store and I see these highlighters and they look so pretty in the packaging, and I open it and I swatch it and it either doesn't show up or it's ashy. So I wanted to create.
We've all experienced that.
Isn't it annoying? I'm like, oh, it looks so pretty in the pan.
Yeah.
So I wanted to create these super pigmented highlighters that also double as eyeshadow. And so that's what I have on now. And I have on the shade Sunkissed. And so this is also going into the giveaway.
Oh my goodness. Can you send like 2 of each, please?
And then, I don't have the bronzing primer. I didn't grab it. But we have a bronzing primer. I created that because a lot of the primers on the market would leave like a white cast on my face before I was putting makeup. So I just wanted something that was hydrating and that would warm the skin first. And you can mix it with our foundation to create your own BB cream, and you can also wear it by itself. And then love is our smooth out translucent powder, and this is the shade Golden Light, which just like we can't keep it in stock, which is a good thing. But it comes in 4 different shades, and I created that because going into these stores and seeing these brands have translucent powders, and I'm like, who is this translucent on?
It's not translucent for me.
It's not translucent on me.
I have wasted so much money on translucent powders.
Girl.
So the last one I bought was Pat McGrath because it's the only one. Yeah, exactly.
I'm big on setting under my eye. I'll literally go in a triangle so that I can keep my glow out here. And then I might do my smile lines and then my forehead and my nose. That's my most oily spots. And so I wanted this powder to be super smoothing. I wanted it to be talc free because talc is considered a toxic ingredient. And then talc also can lend to that like weird Casper flashback that we hate to see in pictures.
Oh, okay. That's talc.
Yes.
Okay.
And so it's available in light, medium, golden light, and deep. And golden light is just like butter.
That's your jam. Yeah.
So the whole line is just my favorite.
The whole line is my fave. Okay. So with your the body glow, I have a question because I have oily skin. So would you recommend that as a face oil for me, or what tips do you have for people with oily skin? Because I know it's a lot of us Black women that have it.
Yes. So my biggest thing always when we have guests come to us and say, "Oh, I'm oily. Is the hydrating foundation going to be okay? Is the body glow going to be okay?" So the biggest myth, I think, and I'm sure you're aware of it, is that because you're oily, then you should use the least amount of moisturizer or oil-based products, which is a myth because when you do that, it causes your face to overproduce oil to try and keep up. So you need to keep your skin hydrated, and that usually helps with your oil production. With the Bali Glow, I say this is for all skin types because the oils that we use are argan. I use argan oil and then I use aloe. And so argan oil is hydrating. It is a oil that helps heal damaged and dry skin. And then argan oil is one of the top oils that does not clog pores. So that's why I say it's good for oily skin because it's not going to clog your pores when you apply it. And it really just melts into your skin. It's not sitting on the surface. If you're a super oily girl, I always recommend to apply a little bit of powder here and like wherever you get oily. Apply a small amount, like a very soft layer of it before you put on your foundation, and that'll help.
Of the powder or the
so
oil?
put the powder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, So blot your powder on like where, so for me, it would be here, even though I'm not extremely oily, but if you're like, no, I'm pizza face, then I would recommend doing the powder gently and it's like a little bit, just a little bit in your oily spots. And then you put the foundation on top of that. And then you're able to last longer throughout the day.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard that before. I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
Love it. Dropping gems. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? I think that's all of them.
Yay.
So, Alicia, what's next for Range Beauty? What can we expect?
So I have a huge...
It's a loaded question. I'm sorry.
huge announcement coming very soon.
Ooh, okay.
About where you'll be able to find us. So stay tuned for that. As far as new product releases that got pushed, I wanted to do concealers this year. Unfortunately, that had to take a back burner. So hopefully next year I'll be able to do concealers, and then next is bronzers. And so I'm hoping to drop both of those next year. We'll see, fingers crossed. The biggest news is definitely what is going to be happening this fall. So
I am excited. When are you guys going to announce?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm told that I have to wait kind of to the last minute, even though I've been telling people anyways. Just because it's great news.
That's amazing.
Yes. So
that's amazing.
We'll see. We'll see when I can announce it.
Okay, cool. And also, let's talk offline because we really want you in our stores. People have been asking. We definitely want to get more makeup brands by Black women in our store. So I think it would be a great match.
You have to tell us. So you guys are open right now, right?
We are open, yes. Our flagship location is in North Hollywood, right outside of LA. But we're also online. So beautybees.com. You can find all of our products online too. Hair care, skin care, makeup, everything. Yeah. So please check us out. And thank you so much. Like, we really appreciate it.
Fun.
Yes. We got to do it again. Thank you guys. Please make sure you join our contest. It looks like it's a good one.
Yes. And so what do they have to do again?
So you're going to follow Beauty Bees store, follow range_beauty, with screenshot this live, and then repost us and tag us. Repost the screenshot and tag us.
On their story?
On their story, on their feed, wherever. Just make sure you repost it and you tag us. And then we will contact you guys. We'll let Range Beauty know of the winner. And you guys are going to get some fabulous goodies from both Beauty Bees and Range.
Sorry about that.
Thank you so much, Alicia. Thank you. No, you're fine. All right, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. You guys have a good one.
You too.